Here we are in the creative kitchen and we're wrapping up the Fieldstones. You can see here that we have stones already painted, and you actually are looking at finished product now, what the Fieldstones will end up looking like. And in order to achieve this final step, we're putting a thin glaze of burnt umber on top of the Fieldstones we've already painted. So I'm going to pan over to the left, and I want you to start noticing when you no longer see the burnt umber glaze on top of the stones. You'll start to notice it right here. The transparent umber glaze ends at this panel, and this panel you're looking at the original Fieldstones that we painted with a mixture of raw umber and cobalt blue. You can tell that they obviously look a lot more brighter gray blue than the stones that have the raw umber glaze on top of them. And so the blue in the shadows adds the richness and depth of what we need, but it doesn't serve the purpose of color harmony once we start darkening the grout and pulling out that gold. It almost looks artificial and just kind of has an unsettling, jarring kind of vibe. And we want that gold to pop, but we want the gold to pop in such a way that there's overall harmony still, which is what you see here. So I'm going to show you how to achieve that. It's super simple. And you won't need a rag or a spray bottle. All you need, and you can see what I'm using here, I'm just using a number 2 angled brush. And so I'm gonna go through that with you right now. I have in this bucket all the glaze that you'll need for the entire project. And the first thing is I'm not going to be painting like this. I've got the brush in the end of my hand, and I'm doing it so I can move my hand all around. It's pretty simple. You're gonna go one stone at a time. It doesn't take a lot. So the first thing I do is I unload my paint, and you'll notice I unload in the bottom right corner. I'm not going to try to get any glaze up into this upper left highlight because I want to leave that there. So once I unload, now I start using just the tips of the bristles, and I kind of more or less go straight on, and I start kind of feathering a little bit. See that? And then I kind of scumble and that's that. Depending on the size of the stone you're doing will depend on how much glaze you need. As you can see, it does not take a lot of glaze. So here I go, bottom right corner. I unload most of the glaze, and now I start to scumble it over in this area, leaving the highlighted portion over in the upper left corner, the same way as we did when we painted the original gray. So you notice I unload again in the bottom right hand corner. You'll also notice I'm overpainting onto the grout. Don't be fussy about that. It's all the same color tint. I do come up and add a little couple highlighted spots in that area just to add effect, but I don't overpaint it. I leave it alone. That's the key. Now, as you can tell, we have different stones that were painted by different people. So every stone is not going to come out looking exactly alike, but what will happen is, and we'll do this in just a moment, we're going to pull back and you're going to notice how uniform and in harmony all these stones start to look in relationship, not only with each other, but especially with the brown, because we're using the same brown in this tint as the same dark brown in this glaze. It's just made thinner here for this purpose, for this tint on the stones. I'll do this one here, and then we'll stop. If you feel like you put a little bit too much, then just unload the rest on a nearby small stone. Kind of kill two birds with one stone, so to speak, and move on. You can see that in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, I was able to get about 6 or 7 stones done. So again, you're not spending a lot of time, making this perfect stone. It's bottom right corner to unload, few little highlights up here for texture, and then I stay away from it. Now I scumble and scratch, overpaint grout if you have to, and it's done. Now we're going to pan back and look at the overall section. and you can see that it has the right color harmony with everything else. We're very satisfied with that. So we want to continue painting the upper portion of all these panels, and then the far two left panels have to be hit as well. And after that's completed, we'll go forward with finishing off the grout. That's it.